Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the New Music Alliance Radio Hour, and we're doing a special spotlight show today with Eric Lichter of Dirt Floor Recording and Production. I'm here with Eric Lichter and Stevie Converse and Mark Sherry. I'm David Sokol. We just played you Something It's Not by Kelly English. Before that, Marissa Brodie, Down to Pieces, and we opened the set with I'm Not Myself Today by Krista Baroni. All tracks recorded at the Dirt Floor Recording and Production, and as everything we will play on this show was.
Yeah, and have some really good stuff. I think those are three, great female singer-songwriters. And let's talk about Kelly English's tune first, Something It's Not. I just want to say, I think you did a great job on the production on that one.
Thank you.
I think I love it. And the song itself is such a great, it's like a lament over a lost relationship. It's really so poignant. And
yeah, she's wonderful. Everybody I work with has to have a wonderful quality.
Is that a prerequisite before you allow them in?
It's not that I'm not that standoffish by any means, but I have to find something I like in order to, I can't fake it. I cannot, it just as they can't fake liking me. And, we have a meeting before we get down to it. And Kelly, I've known about for a few years, and we've been sort of trying to get together, and she sent me a few songs, and we were finally able to do it last fall. And it was the first of what I'm hoping will be many, many songs to come. But she just has such a wonderful, easy style. And we recorded that song in one day. That was a one-day situation. She came in the morning and brought the song and let me do my thing. And I had my assistant engineer his name is Guido Falavini. He's not Italian or anything. He was there with me, and it made it very easy. So she let me do my thing. So I added drums, a little mellotron. I love Wes Anderson movies. I love the imagery, and I always wanted to make music that sounds like what a Wes Anderson movie looks like, something that's very cinematic. And she was along for it. And we built that whole song up in one day and mixed it. And she's one of my favorite songwriters on the planet. And they all are. All these ladies that you mentioned, and Terry Powers, they're my very favorite artists. And I get to know them. That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Kelly English, I love her lyrics. They're clever, but in a quiet kind of way. Like, she doesn't, lord over the fact that she's clever, but gone down the drain like a bad glass of wine. That's awesome. Yeah. And even the title, Something It's Not, Something It's Not. I just love that. I can hear this song being covered in so many ways.
Oh, me too.
It's easy to sing, but it's deep and it's soulful at the same time. I just really like it. And I like the use of her repeating the last words of the stanza. I think that really gives what she's saying a lot more impact.
Yeah, I think she'll really like to hear it when she listens to this. I think that'll be something she'll really, really appreciate hearing. Because it's nice to know that people are hearing your song and able to pick these things out. Because it means they're really listening. It means you're really hearing it and connecting with it. And that's all we could ever hope for as artists.
In Down to Pieces, the Marissa Brodie song, it really felt kind of like George Harrison to me. There was an introspective, autobiographical feel to that song. And when you think about songs that are influenced by someone, I don't know whether she's a George fan, but it really had that vibe to me.
Well, it's interesting, and we started to make that record. You remember we got that crazy storm back in August, I think? We had a crazy storm that knocked out power for a couple of weeks. And we began that record, we put in a few days, and then our power was out for 2 weeks. We resumed work on the album. And I remember that song was interesting because I was explaining to her the Linda Ronstadt scenario. I really wanted the guitar solo in the middle section to go somewhere. I was talking about Linda Ronstadt and how Andrew Gold, like on the You're No Good on You're No Good, and it might have even been another Linda Ronstadt tune, but he played a solo that was like out of left field. Like if you listen to You're No Good, you think about that guitar solo. It's a very George Harrison guitar solo.
Yeah.
And that's Andrew Gold doing that. And I said, listen, I want to take this song somewhere else. So I did a very almost something from that song.
That was going to be one of my comments to you, is that I thought that your lead guitar, the solo in that was just perfect, and just, yeah.
Well, thank you. I mean, that was a very conscious decision on my part to take it out of where the song was and bring it out of left field to like maybe Beatles territory. And I wasn't sure if anybody was going to understand. And she was so great. She just said, do it, go for it. And that was it, a one-take wonder situation. And we made a whole record, and that record will be out at some point.
And that's the title. That's the title track.
Yeah.
I just love the sound. I love the sound of her voice. It just kind of like lures you in. There's something about it that just kind of grabs you.
Yeah.
I had a different take on this song. To me, it sounded almost theatrical. Like I could see it on stage in a musical. Just the way that it sounded and it felt, and it had that cross-genre feel to it that resonates with me all the time anyways.
There were dramatic pauses too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Marissa is from Stonington, Connecticut, and before that song we were talking about, something that's not Kelly English, she's from Hartford. And then the first artist that we played, Krista Baroni from Waterford, Connecticut, and I'm Not Myself Today.
Yeah.
It's just a really nice song.
The Alabaster Girl.
Oh, that whole album. Album. I'm very partial because that whole album has now been out for a few years, and I go back time and time again. And she's become, we went to her wedding, and, everybody, they all just become a family, and she's a special person to me because to me, and when I say this, it doesn't mean I love anybody any less. Like I love them all the same, my children, but she has a Joni thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that she's trying to copy Joni, but she has these isms, like this way that she'll turn a phrase or stack lines up. And just like that whole record is a mood. It reminds me of Song to a Seagull. In that it's a very wintry kind of an album. That Song to a Seagull is a very winter album for me. And she is just so real and so wonderful. And we're going to be doing a few Carly Simon covers in the next couple months together. So that's going to be our way of getting back to work.
The dum-dee, that whole beat, and it just stays the same. But the way she entwines her story around it, it's beautiful. Her words have all kinds of rhythms and meters, and it's just, if you could see my hands right now, you'd see that they're just like
they do,
going around and around, like entwining, and
mine are doing the
zipping
same
around. Like it was just beautiful, and she has a beautiful voice.
Yeah, and she has a really great command of her instrument as well. Like she's a wonderful guitar player, and for me, that's not. I wouldn't say a selling point because, it's always a process. And when I'm recording with people, sometimes they learn as they go. They might come in and they're an unpolished diamond, an uncut diamond, I suppose. But Krista knows how to sing over her guitar and finesse to where she can sing in any room, any place. And you're drawn to listen. Whereas some guitar players, some might be bashing their guitar a little loud for the vocal delivery,
Let's move to our next block, and we're going to start that one off with Stephanie Clark Harris doing Spirit Moves.